Welcome back to part two of our interview with Bill Fletcher. We're talking about the debate between Barack Obama and John McCain. Bill's an activist, author, labor organizer, editor of The Black Commentator, and his new book is called Solidarity Divided: The Crisis in Organized Labor and a New Path Towards Social Justice. Welcome back, Bill.
I'm glad to be back.
So, Bill, the fundamental issue in the opening part of the debate was the financial crisis. What will you do about it? Barack talked about his plans in terms of relief for the middle class, and we heard much of the same language we've been hearing during the campaign. We heard from McCain again the issue of smaller government and cuts and all of that. What would you have liked to have seen? What would you like the next president to do in his first 100 days?
Well, one of the things I would say, Paul, the first thing is that the whole debate that was going on about cutting taxes and whether someone was spending more, it misses the point. The United States needs a major investment of money on basic infrastructure. That's going to cost. I mean, we have roads collapsing, bridges collapsing, tunnels collapsing. We have waterways that are eroding. And what I would have liked to have heard Senator Obama to say in his statement was that we are going to have to, in order to address this overall economic crisis, we're going to have to invest. We're going to have to invest in the worker. We're going to have to create a major jobs program, which would be one of the first things I think that he would need to do in those first 100 days, a major jobs program that puts people to work. They have to stop the foreclosures. There needs to be a moratorium on foreclosures and a renegotiation of the debts that regular homeowners have. I mean, these are some of the immediate steps that need to be taken. And I think that that on the one hand, I think Senator Obama was correct in saying that something needed to be done about the credit crunch. But what I think needed to be very much emphasized was that the resentment that people were feeling about this bailout package was based on looking at who seemed to be gaining from this as opposed to the millions of people who are suffering.
There was a moment in the debate where one of the questions was, it hasn't been really since World War II, I think the question went, that Americans have been asked to sacrifice. What would you, the question went, what would you ask Americans to sacrifice and for what? And I thought it was a moment for both candidates to stand up and inspire. McCain went to complete message track, sort of critiqued Obama again about something. But I also was disappointed with Obama in the sense that if there was a time to say that now's the time for sacrifice, it was a time where he could have said it's time for equal sacrifice and really gone after the message that if we're going to pay for this financial crisis, if we're going to pay for this infrastructure program that we need, then there's going to have to be real taxation, and certainly at the upper levels. Now, he makes the argument, but he's very careful about it. Whereas I actually think one could inspire people on the question of that it's time to people have to pay their way, and clearly it's the people with wealth that have to do it.
I think that that's true, although, it's interesting. I was thinking about a very different answer. I was thinking that if I were to say we're going to have to sacrifice, I'd say that we're going to have to sacrifice the way we live in order to address the survival of the planet.
Well, that kind of was his answer. He talked about individual responsibility and how we use energy.
Yeah, but I'm saying even more than that, Paul. I mean, for example, we have grown accustomed to living in, having suburbanization, cars which one person drives in, communities, I mean, even my own community, where there's no sidewalks, where you have to drive. When we're talking about changing the way we're living, it's not just that we're going to recycle paper, which is always very important, but it's that we're going to have to redesign our very basic infrastructure. The whole idea that everybody gets a single family home, for example, that we eat up the land the way that we've been doing it to create these sometimes massive single family homes that two people live in or one person lives in. I mean, we're really talking about a different way of living. And it doesn't mean that people are going to be going back to living in caves, but it does mean that we have to change our lifestyle, and that is going to be a major sacrifice, in addition to what you said.
Well, we'll see if there is a President Obama, and as of today, it looks like there might be. We'll see if we hear that in his inaugural address. Thanks so much for joining us, Bill.
Oh, my pleasure.
And thank you for joining us.